Tribulation, Jack Hester. Oh, maybe I should start the record. That'd be smart.
Good evening. As usual, we have several reports to bring you on the news. We have some interviews and reports of further information on those strange events which have plagued this nation and the rest of the world for the past 12 months. Things may not be back to normal yet as a result of those events. However, the public seems to have adapted, and the bizarre has become commonplace. In the nation's capital, various reactions have been expressed, none of them official. And in an attempt to find out why Washington is reticent to talk about the situation, our Washington correspondent has been on the scene trying to extricate news from the rumors and red tape. We take you now to our Washington correspondent for this interview with one of the Midwestern senators.
Thank you. I'm on the street in front of the Capitol building here in Washington. There seems to be another in a series of meetings just adjourned. I'm speaking with one of our Midwestern senators who has just come from the Capitol. Senator, there are rumors that the meeting tonight has had some special significance, considerably above any previous meeting among the nation's leaders. Also, that it may possibly affect the government's stand on the events of the past 12 months. Could you comment on that, sir?
Well, as you know, ever since the first in a series of events which began some 12 months ago, we've been meeting quite frequently to discuss a myriad of subjects. Now, I don't think tonight's meeting was really any different. We still feel and would like to stress that this is not anything supernatural like most people would like to believe. And this is even verified by the recent report of the Emergency Conditions Committee, which was appointed by the President. Rather, we feel it's a plot of some kind.
Well, Senator, maybe you could tell us why the government has been so indefinite about taking a stand on the matter.
Well, the government's been unable to take a stand simply because of lack of understanding we have for just what they have in mind.
Well, now, by they, do you mean the communists?
Well, whoever's directly behind this. We may have some more information soon. Future summit talks may show some agreement and understanding.
Well, now, you're saying that a meeting will take place to discuss the world situation now?
No, I don't have any information on an actual world meeting. In fact, I'm sorry, I'm on a kind of tight schedule tonight. Thank you very much.
Just a moment, Senator. How do you explain the similar reports of chaos being received from Russia and China and many other communist countries?
Thank you, sir. Some other time.
Senator, could answer this then before you leave me. Could the Russians have some scientific method for making people just disappear from off the face of the earth?
Not now, sir. We'll reveal our information at some later time.
But Senator, what about?
I'm sorry.
But Senator,
I'm just sorry. I must go.
But Senator, what's happening? Before we return you to the studios, I want to give you this that we have received from the Religious News Department. The chief analysis of the Common Market Confederacy announced today from Brussels that a computerized restoration plan is already underway in the aftermath of this world chaos. In the crisis meeting, which brought together scientists, advisors, and common market leaders, these men unveil what they call the beast. The beast is a gigantic computer that takes up 3 floors at the administration building of market headquarters. This monster is a self-programming unit that has over 100 sensing input sources. Computer experts have been working on a plan to computerize the world trade. This master plan involves a digital numbering system for every human on Earth. The computer would assign each citizen of this world a number to be used for buying and selling to avoid the problems of ordinary credit cards. The number would be invisible. It would be placed by a laser tattoo on the forehead or the back of the hand. It would provide a walking credit card system. The number would show up as it would be identified with the infrared scanner to be placed at all checkout counters and places of business. The analysis, these leaders, they suggested that the present chaos and the disorder caused by the mystery points to the need of a world currency and perhaps an international program of peace and politics, as well as a new world trade and numbering system. Did you know that one man could have at his fingertips the number of any man on earth? It could provide the most powerful lever known to mankind. He would have a solution, as he could bank all the world problems. It could be a tool for peace or a dictator's weapon. We'll be giving you more concerning this mystery beast in future broadcasts. And now from Washington, we return you to the studio. Well, that was the report from Washington in the news tonight. Throughout the crisis, we'll keep you informed of the events as we receive them here in Radio Central. We'll have more reports as they come into our newsroom. We promised you a special report with Dr. Kruer Ventheim of the European Astrophysics Laboratory in Dulce, Germany. I think we're about ready with that report, so go ahead, overseas.
Here at the European Astrophysics Laboratory in the quaint town of Dulce, Germany, scientists for nearly the past 18 months have been witnessing some of the strangest celestial events ever witnessed by the human eye. Here to tell us about some of these events is Dr. Kruer Ventheim, director of the Institute. Dr. Ventheim, what are some of the unusual happenings which have been observed by scientists in your institute?
Vor ungefähr 21 Monaten, als plötzlich die ganze Welt eine Serie von Ereignissen experiencete, welche dann und noch immer nicht durch menschliche Erfahrung erklärt werden können, begannen wir hier im Labor Unregelmäßigkeiten zu bemerken, und zwar im Solarsystem, welche immer mehr verwickelt erscheinen. Vielleicht ist das schrecklichste Ereignis die ungewöhnliche Farbe des Mondes. Einige unserer Fachleute dachten erst, es sei das Ergebnis der Mikroorganismen, die durch die United States Apollo-Serie, welche am Anfang des Jahres 1970 endete, auf den Mond gebracht wurden. Diese Theorie hat sich nicht bestätigt. Aber wir haben den Mond durch unsere Teleskope und andere Instrumente beobachtet und wir können sagen, dass es nicht die Erdatmosphäre ist, die dem Mond diese ungewöhnliche blutrote Erscheinung gibt, aber vielmehr eine Substanz auf der Mondoberfläche selbst.
Doctor, this newscast is going to America, so let me translate it for you. Some 22 months ago, when the entire world began to experience a series of events which were, and indeed still are, not explainable by human standards, we here at the Institute began to witness irregularities, let us say, in the solar system, which have continued to become more and more complicated right up to the present time. Perhaps the most frightening thing is the unusual color of the moon. Some of our scientists thought initially that it was a result of a particular microorganism carried to the moon by the United States Apollo series, which ended in the early 1970s. This theory has since been disproved, however. We've been watching the moon through our telescopes and other equipment here at the laboratory, and all we can say is that it is not the Earth's atmosphere that is giving this unusual reddish appearance to the moon, but rather a substance on the surface of the moon itself.
Dr. Ventnheim, there are some good old documents of the religious sect called Christians, which mention the moon turning to blood. Is this a possibility?
Ich kenne diese Dokumente nicht. Und auch gebe ich solche Erzählungen keine Aufmerksamkeit, da sie meistens nur die Grundlage für ungesunde Gerüchte geben. Natürlich will die Religion immer ihren Beitrag mit einigen amüsanten Geschichten geben. Aber die Wirklichkeit ist, es gibt keine wissenschaftliche Grundlage für solch eine Theorie.
Excuse me again, Doctor, but I must again translate for the people in America. Well, I'm not familiar with this document, nor do I give credence to such stories, as they are usually the source for unhealthy rumors. Certainly, religion will always contribute its amusing stories, but the fact is there is no scientific basis for any such theory.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to break in. Back here in Radio Central, our newswires have just released some information which may have a bearing on that story. We've received a bulletin dateline Cape Kennedy, and I quote, "The moon rocks at the Cape Kennedy Space Museum, which have been on display for years, have vanished. The reports of people vanishing took great news precedence a few months ago, but this is the first item of any note to disappear, with the exception of those items which were proven to be stolen. Spokesmen from the Cape Museum say the rocks have been under heavy guard and encased in glass secured to steel mounted in concrete. However, guards on duty report that no one has attempted to steal the rocks, nor has anyone other than the guards even come into the area. There is no sign of breakage on the glass casement either. The rocks are simply gone. An investigation is underway and detectives are studying their only clue." Just a moment, I've just been handed this latest release on the moon rocks. They're speculating now where the rocks were encased. There are substances of pure blood. That's right. The report is given that on the surface where the rocks were are now pools of blood. More on that as the news breaks and we receive it here at Radio Central. Seems as if we are receiving some unusual reports from all over the world. Here's a report from Tangier, Morocco in North Africa. Hundreds who were attending a world conference at the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea have noticed a monstrous type animal in the water. The unusual thing they report is a large whale-sized creature with 7 heads. Well, if 2 heads are better than 1, well, anyway, this thing with 7 heads may be just what we're looking for. Now we'll have the weather.
Weather conditions for our part of the state are much the same as the rest of the country, unpredictable. Farmers complain that the shortage of sunlight has seriously hurt the production of all growing plants. Even artificial light, which has been used so successfully in the past years, has strangely failed in every attempt. The shortage of food has already caused famine in many parts of the world. There seems to be no hope that the sufficient sunlight will return in time to save this year's crops. Unseasonably cold weather is reported in every part of the nation. The predominantly eastward movement of the weather fronts has completely reversed itself to the point that weather forecasters have literally nothing upon which to base their predictions. We'll switch you to the Weather Bureau at the jetport.
The current temperature at the jetport is 13 degrees, barometric pressure 29.97, humidity 27%, winds from the north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. The forecast continued unseasonably cold tonight and tomorrow with a chance of snow in the higher elevations. Tonight's low 5 to 10 degrees below. Tomorrow's high 15 degrees, 90% chance of precipitation tonight and tomorrow with no favorable weather in sight.
Shockingly, this thing actually sounds decent considering the shape it's in.
We interrupt our regular programming for this late item. Government officials announced just moments ago that they had voted to cooperate with federal officials in complying with the Equalization Alliance to mediate economy. This would require all citizens of this community to receive an identifying mark within 36 hours from 12 midnight tonight. Facilities are being set up at the present time at all local post office branches. You will be given the option of receiving this mark either on the back of your right hand or on your forehead. Let me repeat, you must receive this mark within 36 hours from midnight tonight. Now, with more information, here is our reporter downtown at City Hall.
About a year ago, a man from the Far East stunned the world with his intellectual prowess. First, by becoming the world's first chess player to be completely undefeated. In chess games, with chess masters and even computerized games, he never lost a single match. Later, he offered complex chemical formulas which are currently being used in the cure of cancer. Scientists, after some study of this amazing personality, placed the man in a separate biological category. The most recent suggestion that he has made, and the one adopted by our government as well as many other major metropolitan areas of the world, has been termed the Equalization Alliance to mediate economy. This is an agreement by all the world leaders to issue identifying marks to all people, to be used as a pledge system among individuals and businesses, thereby deleting any and all currency used in transactions. This theoretically would curb the economic upheaval experienced during the past 5 years. The plan seems to be working. And now the fact is that it is working in our country, right now. The government has made it into law, and the people are now conforming to that law. The number has been readily accepted by all the powers of government, and is commonly called 666. In order to buy or sell any item, 666 must be displayed by the purchaser. Here at City Hall, officials are excited about the plan, and its success has already been witnessed in many other parts of the world. Maybe there is hope for us yet. This is Stan Jeffries, downtown.
Good evening. In the headlines tonight, international reaction to the marking system continues favorable. In Washington, the Vice President has flown to join the President's International Summit meeting. Army advisors have sent more men into the state to assist National Guardsmen, many of whom continue to desert. This item just in on the local scene, a fatal shooting in the city today claimed the life of a woman. Here is that report.
I'm at the public quick mart on North Main Street. The shooting took place about 30 minutes ago. I'm talking with the store owner who shot the victim. Sir, could you explain the incident, please?
Well, it's really simple. This woman came in and tried to purchase some food for her baby. When she came to the checkout, she didn't have any mark on any child's hand or her forehead.
Well, did the lady have a mark or a tattoo?
Yeah, she did, but the child didn't. I told her the law required everyone must have a mark. I mean, why should the kid not get, should she get by? Everyone in my family had to have the mark. Why not her? Well, anyway, she got real mad and upset, and she began screaming. She had to have milk for her baby and everything, crying, saying something about not wanting her kid to bear any mark. Well, the law is the law, I told her, so she started hitting me, and then she grabbed the milk and pushed me back against the counter and ran for the door. I reached under the counter for my pistol, and I yelled for her to stop. When she didn't stop, I shot. I'm sorry, but the law's the law.
Okay, sir, thank you. Also with me is the police chief. Chief, what action will your department take in this tragedy?
Well, the man didn't do anything wrong. Actually, I wish more citizens were as civic-minded. It sure would make my job a lot easier. The family's a little upset, but they'll get over it.
Thank you, Chief. Now back to News Central.
The recently announced marking system has caused quite a stir in the past 10 days. Never in our history has there been a mandatory classification system requiring what amounts to a tattoo on all citizens. Here to discuss this with us is our city mayor. Mayor Woods, this new ruling came down to us by presidential order without concurrence of the Congress. What does all that signify to you?
Communications between the higher echelons of government and local officials is poor at best these days. More and more, it seems that we at the local level are mere puppets. Regarding this marking business, well, we can only place enough confidence in our president and other federal leaders and hope best interest. As you know, the president has left for the Mediterranean in a summit meeting with other world leaders. What is being discussed, I just don't know. I should, as mayor of a city this size, but once again, communication is very bad.
In talking to just everyday citizens, the general feeling today is of despair and sadness. Do you feel this, Mr. Mayor?
Most certainly, there are serious problems in every facet of life today. Everyone is distraught and discouraged. How can people look forward with confidence? They certainly can't have much feeling of security for the future. My own outlook is black. And when the leaders give up, what can the rest of us feel? It seems that tragedy has struck everyone in one way or another these last few years. My wife and I still grieve the disappearance of my son. When he was in his plane while he was serving as a missionary pilot in Brazil. I just don't know how much more grief any of us can stand. I'm sorry. I know how the citizens feel. I'm sorry.
Which is certainly the most astonishing report this reporter has ever made. I've reported perhaps every known type of news item, but this has completely baffled me. I simply don't know how to accept this news. Perhaps, like most other Americans, I feel somewhat relieved. During the past 6.5 years of turmoil, disruption, and chaos, it's become a way of life, something to live with. Well, this may be a solution. However, it's still the most dramatic move ever made by a public official. Well, we're ready now with that report direct from the International Summit meeting on the coast of the Mediterranean.
The biggest world news ever to be recorded has occurred here today. This is the city where all the leaders of the world gathered to discuss the possible solutions to the chaotic state of the world since the terrible change in conditions some 6 years ago. It was also in this city that the world was stunned by the appearance of what many call the Beast, due to his strangely unnatural form. This man displayed an amazing intelligence which commanded the respect of scientists from all over the world. Nearly every nation in the world has already adopted his numeration plan to curb the spiraling world economy, and the plan has worked exceedingly well. Perhaps this is the reason that the world leaders were so eager to receive his advice. You can hear the results in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, the President of the United States has agreed to accept any and all advice on any matter from this great man. The same agreement has been accepted by Great Britain, France, Russia, Spain, Germany, Italy, Thailand, Japan, Iceland, South Africa, well, the list goes on, and includes every nation in the world. Distraught leaders assemble here with their cries of problems, and the solution seems to be one world leader. Many leaders cried at not being able to cope with their own problems. Disgrace reigns on them all now as they were unable to do their jobs. As has been previously reported, many have committed suicide. In the background, you can hear citizens cheering a new leader who will rule, and through the cheering, you can hear the broken cries of broken men who once helped the world, now only holding their heads in their hands. We are waiting now for the new leader to appear and make a statement. But wait, there seems to be some sort of power failure. Yes, most of the street lights within my vision are out, and other...
Excuse this interruption, but we have this late item. We've just received word that much of this city has also experienced a power failure. Fortunately, this station was not affected. It's impossible at this time to reach local power company officials to determine how massive the power outage is and when we might expect to have full power restored. Are we on yet? Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you now, this station is operating under reduced power using an auxiliary generator. The entire city apparently is blacked out. So we would ask those of you who are listening on transistor radios to share any late news developments with your neighbors. I believe one of our mobile units has reached a power company supervisor at one of the city's electric substations. Charles Brooks is on the scene. Charles, come in.
Thanks, Dave. We are here at the 3rd Street substation where emergency crews are trying to determine the cause of the problem and to fix it. Power company officials say they are having a hard time isolating the source of the outage. The cause seems to be affecting the entire city and may cover a much larger area.
Thank you, Charles. We've just received a report from the city's largest hospital that they are experiencing tremendous problems down there. I have the head nurse on the phone. Ma'am, could you please describe the situation for us?
Attention, please. Doctors are needed in operating rooms 2 and 6. All available doctors that are not reporting to the emergency room, please report to operating rooms 2 and 6. Other doctors, please report to the 3rd floor nurses station. Attention, please. This is an emergency. All available doctors, please report to the emergency room. Others to the operating rooms 2 and 6 and to the 3rd floor nurses station. Attention, please. Attention, please. Doctors are needed in patient receiving. In patient receiving. Doctors are needed in patient receiving. Immediately, please. Attention, please. Attention, please. More doctors are needed in emergency. More doctors are needed in emergency. All available doctors are requested to report immediately to the emergency room. This is an emergency. Attention, please. Attention, please. All available doctors, please report to the nurses station in the main entrance. In the main entrance, the nurses station. All doctors, please. Attention. All available nurses, please report to your nurses station. Please report to your nurses station. You are needed at once.
We are unable to get our generators going here. Our auxiliary power units are just not working. The staff is using candles and flashlights to care for the patients. In addition, 2 premature babies were lost when the oxygen pumps failed. Until power is restored, we're canceling all operations. We're just too busy trying to care for the patients we have. All off-duty nurses and aides are asked to report to the hospital as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, we've learned that civil defense officials have called all available men out to help transport people. This bulletin just in from the Mediterranean, the city which was the host for all the world leaders has been destroyed. This seems to have no plausible explanation, but with a report, here's our man in the Mediterranean.
This European city, which has gained fame from the recent meeting of all the world leaders, is again in the news. The result of that meeting, the power given to the leader. Presidents, kings, prime ministers, all the previous international figures were here and screamed in despair. I saw it, and as a newsman, I must report it. They begged to be relieved of the burdens of this nightmare, and they gave their power to the leader. And they begged, and they're still here among the ashes. All there is now of this town is ashes, mountains of ashes, shattered glass, glittering cliffs of glass, all shattered steeper than a cat could climb if there were still cats. And the silence. There is no sound here now, no wind sound, Nothing that could sound the wind, could make it sing. No door, no doorway.
And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heavens fled away. There was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. And the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged, every man, according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
I strolled along the road one day, but it was not the narrow way. I met a stranger. He spoke to me. He said, "My child, where goest thou?" I said, "I seek the road just now to worldly pleasures along the way." I said, "There is so much to see. I cannot turn, I must be free. New fields to conquer as on I go. I never shall forget that day, how sad he looked as he turned my way. He bowed his head and dropped a tear. Turn back, my child, for the way is very steep. The things you'll find out there you cannot keep. The way is filled with thorns, and the things you'll find are cheap. Turn back, my child, come home with me. And as I journeyed on my way, I stooped to pick a lovely spray, but it was sorrow that looked so gay. And then a dark cloud rolled my way. 'Twas then I heard my Savior say, "Turn back, my child, come home."
God, that's so woeful singing.
And then he gently took my hand. He lifted me from sinking sand. He said, "My child, believe in me." And then such beauty I beheld, I'm sure that I could never tell. Turn back, my child, come home with me. Turn back, my child, for the way is very steep. The things you'll find out there
you cannot keep. The way is filled with thorns, and the things you'll find they're cheap. Turn back, my child. Come home with me.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.